Okay, for the stretching and shrinking project, you're going to get an end result that looks kind of like this. This is not an awesome one. It's a pretty good one, and it's got all the pieces you're going to have. You are going to be taking 2 square roots. Do you see the 2 square root symbols? All right. Yep, they're right here and right there. And you can stretch them any way you want and use them in your picture. You got to have 2 circles. Do you see the circles here? Hope you see the cherries. Okay. And you're going to have 2 parabolas. I hope you can see those. They don't have to be identical. You're going to have 2 square roots. Oh, those are absolute values. You're right. And then these look like parabolas again. Can you do that? Yeah, you can use like 12 parabolas if you want to. Okay, but you have to have certain shapes that are, I'll give you a list later of all the shapes that you have to have. All right, and you use them all and you make a picture. Now, this one, again, it's not going to get a straight A because of the creativity part was off. It's not going to get 100%. Okay, but its colors were nice. It looks like it's fairly clean and simple. Let me show you some other ones that are different and sometimes better. Okay, I'm going to start with this one. And you can see there's just a lot more detail to this. There's a snowman. That's not tremendously creative. It's not bad. This one's getting better because all of a sudden you got all kinds of like detail on the house behind it. It looks like a computer generated this one, and it did, because we're going to go into the computer lab tomorrow and start typing in some equations. And the computer, you can limit and say, like, you know, wouldn't an absolute value go forever? Like this absolute value here, wouldn't that go forever? Yeah, so you have to limit it and say, I only want you to graph, Mr. Computer, to graph that between 8 and 11. And then you see how it will say, okay, only between 8 and 11, or I guess I was off, maybe it's 9 and 13 or whatever. It's only between 9 and 13. That's the domain is limited. So that's how you get these shapes to not like continue forever. All right, that one was kind of cool. I guess I'm partial to cats, so. I really like that one. That one's got a lot of creativity. I like how they used that square root to sort of be like a spiral in there. Looks like a, anyway. And if you do like an ornament like this, it gives you a lot more like freedom to make things that you wouldn't see necessarily like in your backyard or whatever. If you want to make a nature scene, you can. If you want to try to do a tiger, you can. It's just it's tougher to do those because you know what they should look like. Versus if you make something more artistic, you can kind of be a little more free with what, you know, because nobody knows what it should look like. You're making it up yourself. Okay, so that'll give you a little bit more freedom if you want to go that way. I like that one. It's like the Flappy Bird kind of thing. All right, so this is Blinky from the Pac-Man series. All right, here's the things you have to have. You have to have 2 of these. Oops, I should separate these. 2 of these, but they can be flipped, they can be stretched. I mean, you can make this look totally different by making it stretched way out. You know what I mean? Like that totally looks different than this, but they're both absolute values, right? Okay, and you got to have 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these, and 2 half circles. I'll tell you more about half circles tomorrow because it's important for you to know how the equation works on that. But for right now, I know you know the equation for a circle, regular circle, but I'll show you how to do the half circle. It's different. All right. So what we're going to do is today you're going to get some virtual graph paper up on your iPad, and you're going to start brainstorming ideas for what you might want to make. And then here's the most important part. You need to see how I'm going to grade this, because so many people had beautiful projects and they were like, at the end, I had to have 2 circles? Yeah, it's right in the list of things that you're supposed to have. So let's start by looking at the rubric. So I'm going to pause for a second on the video while we find the rubric. Okay, so here we are on Schoology in our Keep It Real one. And if I hit Higher Algebra Resource here, inside here, I go to Semester 1. Inside there, I go to the transformations one. We're still in there. It's the end project for that. We just finished circles, so now it's transformations project. What? Okay, hold on. I'm going to pause. Okay, so hopefully the recording is able to pick this up. We're looking at the rubric, and if you see a perfect score, it would have to be all the way down the side here, the left side. The rating of 8 points, 8 points, 4 points, and 4 points. Notice creativity's only got 4 points. So if you're terribly not creative, the worst scenario is that you're going to, if you do everything you're supposed to do and you make it clean and everything, the worst you can do is lose 4 points on creativity. And realistically, we usually would give you 1 point just for doing something. Okay. Anyway, here's a list of all the parent functions, including circle, semicircle. I'll show you more about how to type the equation in for that later. Absolute value, square root, and x squared. All right, you have to have 2 each of those. All right, now there are some tremendous opportunities. Go ahead and unmirror if you would. To be creative here. Get the graph paper in the same folder. Find the graph paper. And then on that graph paper, you're going to be working with a partner. Now, I will allow, if you really want to work alone, I will allow it. I know sometimes if you don't know anybody in here, it can be more difficult to find somebody and try to coordinate with them and all that. But partners really would make your life a little easier because you can do half the work and you can like share the load, you know. So anyway, if there is an odd number of people after the whole partners thing is developed, then I will allow people to be in a group of 3, but that's only going to be if there's an odd person left over. Okay, so I'm going to pause for a second while we do our partner figuring out. Okay, so here's how that looks in the transformations project folder. It'd be a really good idea to read the rubric, the digital graph paper. You can do kind of your sketch on there and start to get the idea. GeoGebra is something we're going to use in the computer labs, so you can take a look at that. The computer lab GeoGebra is going to be able to graph these things really cleanly and nicely. There's a lot of information in this folder that you need to be able to see how to do this project. So make sure you find this transformations project folder. That's all I got for you for today.